In the middle of the Amazon rainforest, there is a city where hundreds of houses stand empty. Large houses, well built, with backyards, garages, and wide streets around them. At first glance, everything seems normal. Paved roads, wide sidewalks, entire neighborhoods carefully planned. But after walking just a few meters, something starts to feel wrong. Many of these houses are for sale at prices that immediately draw attention. 30,000, 40,000 reais. In other parts of Brazil, that amount wouldn't even buy a plot of land. Here, it buys an entire house. Houses that once sheltered entire families. Houses designed to last for decades. Houses that today wait for someone, or simply for time itself. But not all of them survived. Some have been abandoned for so many years that the deterioration is obvious from the very first visit. This is not recent abandonment. It is the kind that accumulates slowly, year after year. Damaged roofs, broken, displaced, or completely missing tiles. In many places, the structure has already given way. Rain enters freely, runs along the beams, seeps into the walls, and rots everything from the inside. The walls bear deep marks of the constant humidity of the rainforest. Dark stains slowly creep upward, as if nature itself were reclaiming the space. Paint peels off in layers. Plaster cracks. In some spots, bare concrete is already exposed. Wooden doors are swollen, warped, often completely rotten. Some are still hanging in place, held by rusted hinges. Others have been torn out entirely. Whole doors taken. Frames, locks, windows without glass, without frames. Open to the wind, to insects, to heat, and to abandonment. Inside these houses, the scene is even heavier. Broken floors, loose ceramic tiles, collapsed ceilings, hanging down, on the verge of falling. The strong smell of mold and damp wood dominates the space. A smell that doesn't fade easily. It is the smell of time. In the backyards, vegetation grows without any control. Tall grass, dense shrubs. Young trees sprout where well-kept gardens once existed. Roots break sidewalks, invade garages, push against walls. Dry leaves pile up in corners, mixed with what remains of what once was a lived-in home. Pieces of furniture, broken tiles, forgotten objects, abandoned as if no one were ever coming back. These are houses that were not simply vacated. They were slowly swallowed by the climate, by vegetation, and by oblivion. Every detail reveals the same fate. This was not a sudden departure. It was a gradual, silent, almost imperceptible abandonment. One family leaves, then another, then one more, and the house remains. It is impossible to walk these streets without feeling that these buildings still tell stories. Stories trapped within stained walls, empty roofs, and yards overtaken by weeds. Silence dominates many neighborhoods. Little movement, few people, an economy that has clearly shrunk. This is Monte Dourado, in the state of Pará, a planned city. A city that was once a symbol of modernity in the heart of the Amazon, and that today lives with depopulation, real estate devaluation, and abandonment. But how did an entire city reach this point? How did so many houses end up empty, sold for almost nothing, or simply left behind? To understand, we need to go back in time. Back to the 1960s. At that time, during the Cold War, major world powers competed for economic and strategic influence across the globe. It was in this context that American billionaire Daniel Ludwig decided to place a massive bet on the Brazilian Amazon. His idea was ambitious on a rarely seen scale: to create an integrated industrial complex deep in the rainforest, to produce pulp, to exploit natural resources, to develop large-scale agriculture, to export directly to the international market. Thus was born the Jari Project. The project occupied a massive area along the Jari River, on the border between Pará and Amapá, an isolated region, difficult to access, covered by dense forest. But for Ludwig, isolation was not an obstacle. It was simply another technical problem to be solved with money, engineering, and planning. To make it all work, building factories was not enough. An entire city had to be created. People needed to live there. Workers, technicians, engineers, doctors, administrators. And that is how Monte Dourado came into existence. Unlike most Brazilian cities, Monte Dourado did not grow organically. It was planned from scratch. Every street, every neighborhood, every housing complex, everything was designed before it even existed. The houses followed well-defined standards, solid, well-built, designed to last. There was sanitation, schools, a hospital, clubs, leisure areas. For the standards of the Amazon at the time, Monte Dourado felt almost unreal, a modern city in the middle of the forest. During the peak years of the Jari Project, the city experienced intense growth. People arrived from all over Brazil,